In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get thousands or tens of thousands of qualified leads in minutes. AI personalize them all at scale and automatically launch them in your cold email campaigns and dramatically increase your reply rates with Clay.com. If you haven't heard of Clay, it's essentially a supercharged spreadsheet, letting you scrape, enrich, and personalize from multiple data sources all in one place. Here's a super quick example to show you what I mean. Let's say you want to find more e-commerce brands similar to Gymshark. I'm going to click on New Table. I'll pick Clay's built-in Ocean Scraper, which is a lookalike audience finder. Type in Gymshark, and as you can see, Clay will instantly generate a list of similar brands. Now, let's say I want to enrich this list further. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add details like the founder's name. I'm going to add verified emails. I'm going to add LinkedIn profiles, and even generate some AI personalized lines for each of these contacts. All done automatically in seconds. And once this is done, you're going to have two options. You could export this list, or even better, you could add it straight into your cold email sending tool, like Smart Lead or Instantly AI, and then send your hyper-personalized campaigns at scale. Now, let's jump straight into how you yourself can get these type of results in your cold email campaigns. And by the way, I'll share my exact templates by the end of this video. So here's how we're breaking down this video. We're going to have a few chapters. Chapter number 1 is getting companies. So we're going to talk about how do we find the best companies, how do we create segmented campaigns from this tab. And then we're going to talk about how do we get the right people at these companies. So getting decision makers. And once we found the decision makers, what we need to do is we need to get their contacts. So get contacts at scale. And once we found all of that, now we're ready to clean and validate all of this data. And we're going to conclude everything with a bonus, which is how to hyper-personalize these campaigns. And without further ado, let's jump straight into how we accomplish all of this within Clay.com. I'm going to open Clay right here. I'm going to log in. And by the way, Clay has a few different ways that you can utilize it when it comes from a pricing perspective. Number one, you could utilize it in a credit system, meaning that you pay Clay per credit that you use within the tool. Or another option is that you subscribe to one of the bigger plans, and then you're able to use your own tool through HTTP requests, which, put it simply, is just connecting to the API backend of your tools, making Clay push buttons inside a tool that you're already paying for. So if you already have an Apollo subscription, you already have a Find Email subscription, you already have a ZoomInfo subscription, you can use Clay in conjunction with that system, not in parallel. So therefore, keep that in mind. There's two ways that you can use this. Now, when we are talking about finding companies, there is a few ways that we can go about it. Way number one is we click on the Find Companies button inside Clay, and this will allow us to apply filters that will be extracted from LinkedIn. They're using a backend called MixRank, which you don't need to remember, but that is the backend that's scraping data out of LinkedIn Sales Nav. So if we use these options right here, we're able to filter that, which is what we're going to be doing. Or here's another way you could be finding companies. You could come here on New, click on Workbook, and then you're going to be presented a few options. You could find local businesses, which means that you'd be extracting Google Maps. You could import from a CSV if you already have a file. So let's break that down very briefly here. Let's say you already had a file from Apollo.io, right? You had a file from there. Or you had a LinkedIn Sales Nav file, so you could use that. Or you had an old list that you want to be using. Or you even got lists from PandaMatch, for example, or Ocean.io, or you had any other sort of list. So you could plug all of this into Clay. That you do through the Import CSV option. Now, you can also click on More Sources, and you can find other options that Clay will allow you to use. For example, you don't want to pay for Ocean yourself? Well, you could be using Clay's subscription to Ocean. So you click on Find Company Lookalikes. Let me explain lookalikes very briefly. A lookalike is when you're inputting a company and you're letting the tool find other similar companies. Think of it like you add Apple, and then it finds Microsoft, and then it finds Huawei, and then it finds Dell. Okay, so this is specifically what you're accomplishing with the lookalike audiences. Another option is you could find with a Google search, which is one that we use a lot in our companies. You could be finding these prospects based on our company website. So it finds companies that are likely to want to work with us based on what we put on our website as to who we serve and our case studies. Fantastic feature as well. You can find companies by tech stack. So for example, let's say you only want to find companies on Shopify or only companies on WooCommerce or etc. You would use this option right here. Now, for today's video, we're going to actually start with the Find Companies option. And this is once again extracting out of LinkedIn. So let's say I want to find apparel and fashion brands. Now, I want to remove anyone that is not likely to be doing apparel and fashion as an e-commerce company. So I'm going to be removing companies that do advertising, for example. I'm going to be removing companies that do marketing services, for example. Then I'm going to select the company size. I'm keeping in mind that most apparel and fashion brands that are successful don't really have that big of an employee count. A lot of them are very boutique companies. They have very few employees and they have insane profit margins. So therefore, I'm going to select anywhere from 2 employees to 200. So I'm still getting some of the big companies, but I'm also getting the big companies that have a small headcount. And then I'm going to select the minimum follower count. In my case, I want it to be at least 200 just to make sure this is not extremely tiny and these are just recently started companies. I'm going to select the location to be United States, just as an example. And I'm going to exclude some locations. So for example, let's say I'd like to exclude Alaska and I'd like to exclude Hawaii for whatever reason. Maybe because their shipping would be more complicated because it would cost more to send from those places. So just as an example, I'll be excluding those. Talking of exclusions, if you'd like to exclude a list of companies that you already have, you can do that very easily inside Clay. All you need to do is go to Clay, select a new workbook, upload your list of companies, and then you come back here, select company table, and you select that workbook that you just created so that you'll be able to exclude all of the companies you already have so you're not double paying for those. And I'm going to select the final thing, which is the limit results. I'm going to put it to 10 just because this is an example. And once I click preview companies, it will automatically generate a preview for free of all of the companies that I could be finding people on. So we have around 1,038 results from this. I'm going to import this to a new table. Now, if I wanted to have Clay automatically enrich these companies, all I need to do is just hit this button right here, which is exactly what I'm going to do in this case. If I want to find some recent news about them, I would click this button. If I wanted to find their tech stack, like if they're built on Shopify, I would hit this button, job openings and total funding. In this case, I'm going to select the job openings because that would be interesting for our personalized lines. And then if I open the advanced options, I can select if I want this to be automatically updated and if I want row deduplication. In this case, I only want row deduplication so that I don't have the same company twice. Then I'm going to continue for free and I'm going to import all of the results. So as you can see, I already found a bunch of companies. Took me just a few seconds and I already got the enrichment. So I already got the company name. I got a brief description of this company. I got its industry, its employee count, its location, and etc. So all of this is already done. Now, I also wanted to search for job opens. So if I click this column right here, it will be done automatically for me and only cost me 10 credits. So let's just see what that's going to look like. These are queued to run and it's already searching for the job. Some of these companies already have a bunch of job openings, if I click on them, I'm able to see what the jobs are. So for example, we have an assistant store manager. We got a sales lead, very interesting. We got a key holder. We got another key holder. We got some interesting jobs already that we can use for personalization when reaching out to this company. So then what I want you to do is I want to make sure that these companies are selling the type of products that I can help them sell more of. Let's say I'm selling advertising services to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is ICP check every single company in this list. To do that, I'm going to add a column and I'm going to use an AI agent built by Clay to do it for me. So what I'm going to do in this case is use a Clay Gent. So let's just do that real quick. We use Clay Gent, the AI web researcher, and just in case you're new to this, an AI agent is pretty much an AI that is able to perform functions for you. So for example, this one can open websites, crawl the content, and judge the content for me all in one step. So let's do that. I'm going to add my prompt. You're helping me determine what products a company offers given their website content. The output should be 1 to 3 sentences in length. It should only describe the type of products they offer. Do not include the company name. Keep the response as short as possible. Do not include any contact information. And if they offer multiple products, respond with all of them. Here is their website. For the website, I'm going to select the website from the list. So all I have to do is type in / and select the domain. And now I'm good to go. For the response, I want the response to be in fields and I want the response to be in text, okay? Very simple, very straightforward. Now, what I could be doing is I could also be running a condition, meaning I could make it only run if it found a company that had a job board open. So for example, if I click on use AI, I could say that, and I'm going to say only run if, and then I'm going to select the column that I have, which is going to be job openings, is not empty. right? So it's only going to run if we actually found a job opening. In this case, it worked correctly. So we only had 3 companies that had job openings. In this case, it would only run for those 3 companies. This will help you save a lot on credits. So let's click on save on this. Let's save and run, and let's see what kind of outputs we get. Now, one thing to note is I'm using AI to ICP check, even though Clay has already told me a quick brief about this company. Now, I don't want to just trust this because I don't know when this was up to date. Although I like Clay a lot, I just want to cross-check every single thing before I put it on my list. Here we go, it already got the first one. So it's saying that this company offers ready-to-wear clothing, shoes, and accessories. Now I want Clay to judge if this company right here is actually a company that I can work with. So therefore, I'm going to use another AI. I'm going to go to Add Enrichment. And this time, I want to use ChatGPT 4o Generate Text Mode. And what I want to do is I want to provide it some context. So my context is going to be the following. I'm going to tell it that it is an expert in assessing the alignment between a company product offering and a specified ideal customer profile, ICP, or target market criteria based on the provided ICP and company description. And then we wanted to return whether it is a yes, meaning the company and products match the ICP, a no, whether they don't match the ICP or don't align with it, and unsure in case it doesn't have sufficient information. Why am I doing this once again? It's just to make sure I'm weeding out every company that I would unlikely be able to help. And therefore, I'll have my lead rate be higher, my deliverability be better, and I will not be spamming people. So I'm going to do that. For the prompt, I'm going to use the following. ICP that I want, which is going to be, it's an online store that sells apparel or fashion products, and I'm going to add a company description. This is coming from our previous AI, ClayGent, that ran right here. So I'm going to search for the ClayGent, which is going to be here, company products. I'm going to put the response, and I'm going to save this. Again, I only want to run this if the ClayGent has run. So I'm going to use AI once again, and I'm going to say only run if, and then I'm going to select the ClayGent is not empty. And then I'm going to generate the formula. Again, this is going to help me save a lot of credits. So I'm going to say the output is correct. I'm going to save, and I'm going to save and run. And now you're going to be able to see that it will judge if these companies are within my ICP or if they are not within my ICP. And so now I'm getting a more targeted and better segmented list of companies that I can actually help. So what I'm going to do now is I want to find the decision makers of these companies. And in Clay, I have 2 ways I can go about that. I could, number 1, use Clay's LinkedIn Sales Nav search feature, which is fantastic, and you get data out of LinkedIn, which is very fresh, good data. Or I could add on top of the LinkedIn data also a website search. So I could use an AI agent to try to go to their website or try to search in Google to find a decision maker, which is what I'm going to do here. If you want the simple way of doing it, all you would go ahead and do is click on actions and find people at these companies. So all that you would do is just plug in the companies that you want. And then you would search in by the position title, you would search by their certifications, their language, blah, blah, blah. You'd find all of the data inside these companies. Once you've done that, you click on preview people and you import. Now, I'm going to show you a more advanced version of this, which is using a ClayGent. So I'm going to click on Add Enrichment. I'm going to say ClayGent. I'm going to select the AI Web Researcher, and I'm going to use this prompt right here, which is for the company, and then we're going to select the exact company. It's going to be domain right here. Find the LinkedIn URL of the current CEO. Only return the LinkedIn URL and the person's name if on their LinkedIn page, they're still currently within the company and not retired. So now I'm performing another quality check to make sure that I'm not contacting people that will never reply to me. Meaning, if they are in another company or if they are retired, I'm unlikely to get a reply. So I'm removing all of that with this. And I'm also adding reply with fake if the profile looks fake. Meaning that I don't want anyone that has a profile that was set up a long time ago and is not really active. Then I'm going to select the fields that I want the output on, and I want 2 fields. I want the first name, or actually person's name to be 1, and I want the LinkedIn URL as well. I'm going to put those 2 as an output. Both are text-based. I could actually make this one be a URL-based one. And again, I'm going to select only run for companies that met my ICP, right? So all I'm going to do is use AI and say only run if, and then I'm going to select my ICP result right here. Response is equal yes. And then I got here that it would run for 2 of the companies, which is correct. Those are the 2 that we got a yes for. I'm going to say the output is correct, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to run in the 10 rows. Now, let's do a quick recap. We got a bunch of companies that were within the criteria we wanted. We have validated the ones that had job openings, found how many job openings they had. We then figured out what products they were selling, which, by the way, whenever it times out, you have 2 options. You can just put it to run again or select run on all rows that have or had run with errors. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to say the company description, checking if those are within the ICP of the companies that I want. And now I'm trying to find the CEO's LinkedIn URL. And as it's searching for the CEO's LinkedIn URL, what we're going to do is we're going to already prepare to enrich these CEOs and get their contacts. That's step number 3. So if you remember from our first flowchart, we're going to get the decision makers, we got them, and now we're going to get contacts at scale from all possible vendors. One thing I will mention is that most companies just get data from one vendor like Apollo or ZoomInfo, and that is very outdated. You have much better methods nowadays. You can do what is called a waterfall enrichment process, which when you do that, you're able to get many, many more contacts because you're using all of the other vendors that are in the market at once. And I'll show you how to do that within Clay. You have 2 options to go about it. Number 1, you can click on Add Enrichment, and then you can search for email, and you can choose this one right here, work email, for example, and then it's going to do a waterfall enrichment for you. So all you have to do is choose the vendors that you want to use. So for example, I want to use LeadMagic first, Find Email, Prospeo, Drop Contact, Hunter, Datadogma, and Weeza. So I'm now able to use all of these sequentially. What's going to happen is if LeadMagic doesn't have the email that is valid, it's going to then check Find Email. If Find Email doesn't have an email that's valid, it's going to check Prospeo. And it's going to keep on going until it uses all of the tools. I could add more tools if I wanted to by clicking on Add Action and then select more tools I'd like to add, or I could just stick to the ones that Clay has given to me. Now, I'm then able to select how I want to validate these leads, which, by the way, you'd be able to select the vendor that you want right here. And you are now able to get all of their valid emails. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you a different method of going about it that's a little bit more tidy, which is instead of using Clay's waterfall enrichment, I'm going to use Better Contacts. So I'm going to go to Add Column, Add Enrichment. I'm going to search Better Contacts, which is a tool that does waterfall enrichment for you, and they use up to 20 vendors at once. And that way, all I'm going to do is spend 3 credits on Clay and get data from up to 20 vendors, which is a very good deal to me. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select the person's name, which in this case, let's see if we already have it. It should come from the CEO LinkedIn URL, person's name right here. We got that. Then the company name, which in this case, it's coming from the company name tab. Let's see if we have it here. It's going to be this one right here. Then the company domain, it already selected it right. And social URL, which is the CEO's LinkedIn URL, coming from the Clay agent that we just ran. And I'm going to say that I only want to run this if we actually found a LinkedIn URL before. That way I'm not wasting any credits. So let's say run only if, and then we're going to select the previous column, CEO LinkedIn URL is not empty, right? And then we're going to generate the formula. In this case, it would run only for the 2 that it was found. So that's perfect. I'm going to output as correct. And I'm going to continue to add fields. For the fields that I want, I'd like to have the following. Number 1 is going to be the contact email address provider. I want to know if they are using Google for their email address. I'm going to get the contact email address itself. I'm going to get a phone number in case I can get it. No reason not to. And let's see, anything else that we would want to get? I would say this is all good. I'll get the email address status as well to know if it's valid, if it's a catch-all, or if it's invalid. And then I'm going to save and I'm going to run. And now automatically I'm going to get all of their contacts. By the way, something I haven't showed before is this is what we got out of the AI agent. It found a LinkedIn profile, it found the person's name, and it gives you the reasoning as to why they chose that person in that role. By the way, when you use Better Contacts, you will have to wait for them to process within all of the 20 vendors. So it is normal that you'd have to give this a second right here. And whilst it's finding that, let's finish this Clay table by doing some AI personalization at scale. So for that, we're going to use ChatGPT as well, or actually just to make it a little bit different, let's use Claude this time. We're going to use Anthropic Claude, generate text. We're going to use Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is the one that I recommend to use as well. And we're going to create a prompt to generate a personalized line for me. Now, few principles when it comes to AI. Number 1, it should only have one function, not more than one function only. Number 2, it should always give examples. Number 3, it should always be extremely specific as to what you want and what you don't want. So let's go ahead and craft a prompt that does that. The best way that you can possibly create a prompt is with the help of AI. So let's use ChatGPT to help come up with a prompt that we can add on Claude. And we're going to say, write me an AI prompt that will generate a personalized line based on the job boards that I've scraped. I want this prompt to generate a personalized line that will blend well in this script, okay? And then we're gonna put in our script. So it would be, for example, hey, first name, then we're gonna put in the personalized line about job board and ChatGPT. This is not a good script. I'm just giving you as an example. Let me know if I can send you more details over email. This. So this is an example of a script. Again, this is not good. This is not specific. This does not hit a very specific pain point. It is not something that would perform, but this is just an example for this video. So I'm going to put that in AI and let's see what it can come up with. And I'm also going to give it an example of a good personalized line. Example of a good person. Saw that you were recruiting media buyers and looking to expand your team in, so thought I'd reach out. And then I'm gonna give this to AI and let's see what kind of prompt it will come up with. Okay, this is actually not too bad at all. So let's go ahead, copy this prompt and let's paste it into the AI. So we're gonna come in here, we're gonna paste it and we're gonna fill in the blank data. So let's see. In this case, all that we need to do is put in the job board company right here. So let's just do that. Let's go to the job board, job openings right here, and we're gonna give it the job openings that are available. Now we're gonna call this personalized line like that. And we could be giving it examples, which would definitely make everything a lot better. By the way, one thing you would always want to play with is putting prompts in the system output and then putting the actual prompt right here. But in this case, I just want to show you how this works. Then we're going to use the model settings. Very simply, I want the temperature to be very low. I don't want it to be very creative. And I don't want any stop sequence. So in this case, I'm going to just keep it empty. And I'm going to continue. All I want to do is make sure that I'm only running when I found a valid email. So I'm going to say only run if, and then we're going to select the email. Is valid. So the contact email address is deliverable, is not invalid or empty. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing right here. And in this case, it got it right. Only those two emails were deliverable. So we're going to output as correct. We're going to save and run. Let's see what this is going to look like. And by the way, here are the emails for those two people. And the email service provider of one of them was Outlook. Fantastic. That's really good to us. Let's see what kind of personalized lines we're going to be getting out of Anthropic Claude. So this one says, I noticed your company is in growth mode with 12 open positions right now, which caught my attention as someone who helps scaling companies optimize their lead generation. Very good. The other one is, I noticed your company is actively growing with a new position open, and I thought this would be a great time to connect about scaling your lead generation efforts. This one is okay. I should probably have given more details to Claude and give it examples and etc. Also share more details about the job boards, but this does the gist. These are two good personalized lines already. So now we got a list of qualified companies that were checked if they're running job boards, that were checked if they are within our ICP, and they sell the type of products that I can help them scale with lead generation or ads or etc. Then I've gotten the CEO's LinkedIn URL. I've waterfall enriched them, meaning I use up to 20 vendors to get their emails. Those emails were deliverables and they were valid already, and I've generated personalized lines. My last step is adding this to my campaign. So I'm going to click on add enrichment. And let's say I want to use instantly AI in this specific case. And what I want to do is I want to add the leads to the campaign. So all that I have to do is click on add account, or log into my account, then put in the campaign ID. So let's say, for example, this is going to be the campaign, this right here. It's not a real campaign, just showing you as an example. And I'm going to plug in all of the data for this campaign to run. So we're going to put in their name. In this case, you should break down the first name of the person. So let's just do that. That would be right here, person's name. Okay, so we found a person's name. You should break this down into first name, last name. By the way, I'm just giving you an example. Then company name, we're going to put it right there. Personalization, which is really, really important. And we have crafted this, which is going to be the final thing that we have created right here. So we're going to put in the personalized line, custom variables if you have any. In this case, I don't. And we're going to only run once again if the contact was found. So we're going to use AI. I'm going to say only run if, and we're going to put the personalized line was available. So let's just do that right here. And we're going to generate the formula. And this is correct. It only added for those two. Output is correct. We're going to save and we're going to run. And now the leads are automatically added in my instantly campaigns. So what happens from here is the following. The moment that I'm going to want more leads in my campaigns, all I have to do is come here on imported companies, go to sources, find companies, edit source, and then get more results. I could put this up to 1,000. I'm going to preview the companies. I'm going to insert, and it's going to run everything for those 1,000 rows, automatically add them to my campaigns. And now I've got my campaigns on autopilot, which, by the way, true autopilot is when you set this up on a schedule, which you can. You could just set it up for it to check all of this every day at a specific time. So you come in here on edit, run the source, instead of manually put on a schedule and you put it to run once a day. So it will automatically try to find companies within your ICP, create personalized lines, add them to your campaigns, and run them for you. If you want to know more about how to craft fantastic personalized lines, I strongly recommend that you watch this video right here on the screen right now, and you check out what are the types of personalized that I recommend that you create, what kind of prompts to use, and etc. Hope you find value in that, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.